I accidentally, I accidentally cut off the other video. But no, it became clear that I wasn't trying to hurt that person. So if I said a joke and I hurt someone's feelings, I never had somebody respond to me where they got really pissed off, because I guess maybe my tone of voice, my demeanor, gave off that vibe that I really wasn't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. It was just, I just wanted to joke around. So I haven't had experiences like that. If somebody told me stop, I stopped. If somebody was like I didn't like that, I stopped. Period. It was no, oh, but don't take it so serious. No. When somebody made a clear boundary that they did not like something I did or said, it was no negotiations around that. I needed to stop. And if I ever did it again, it was a problem. A lot of times I would tell, because I value whatever connections I have with people. So if somebody's like, oh, that wasn't funny or that hurt my feelings, I would ask, okay, well, what did I do? What did I say? How, in what way did it hurt your feelings? Okay, well, if I do it again, just let me know. I'll do my best to stop. I didn't even realize I was doing it. So if I do it again, catch me and call me out on it. I'll do my best to make sure that never happens again. Because I mean, sometimes you'll have that, when you tell a joke and somebody will be upset by it. The type of code I go by when I tell a joke or, express any form of comedy is, it does not matter how light the joke was told. If somebody was offended about it and they're serious and I can tell, I don't need to be telling that joke, because we don't know what somebody's triggers are. So I can say, "Oh, haha, your shoes are pink. That's so girly." Right? Now to me that's harmless. But say for instance, the person that I'm making fun of for having pink shoes may have gotten bullied. You know what I mean? So that could be a trigger for them. Anything could be a trigger for somebody. So if somebody clearly and boldly pulls me to the side and says, "Hey, that was not funny. I didn't like it. Can you please stop?" You don't have to repeat yourself. You do not have to repeat yourself. And for the most part, you do not have to explain to me unless I don't, you said, or there was something that I said and I didn't remember. The only time I would ever ask for explanation when someone makes a definitive statement like that is if I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember, or I'm not completely understanding. But when there's a clear understanding about something and I intuitively get a hit as to why, and I'm like, oh, okay, enough said. You don't got to repeat what you said. You made your point clear. Understood. So anyway, one of our friends was sitting at the table with us, and she would always do the duck lips. And I thought it was funny and cute, but I never said nothing about it. But Kimbo being Kimbo, being an asshole, she teased her about it. She teased her about it, and at first she didn't say nothing. So we all thought, oh well, it's okay. And she made fun of her about it for a while, like maybe like two or three more times. I think she had teased her about it, and it would at a certain point in time I started to realize that she was uncomfortable. At first I didn't know, and then I was like, oh, by the second time, after the first time I was like, that was funny, but I don't know. Maybe, I mean, maybe there's a possibility that she may not have liked that joke, or I don't know, because I didn't say nothing about it because I just got that feeling like she might not have thought it was funny. I didn't have any proof, but my intuition was telling me don't make fun, because we all excuse me. I come from a culture where we cap on each other. In the hood, we cap on each other. For light things. It was just lighthearted humor. So a lot, like when we cap on each other, it just means, hey, I notice these things about you and I accept you for who you are, but I'm gonna give you a hard time to see if you got some heart. You know what I'm saying? Just don't mean nothing by it. It just means, we just testing you to see if you got a backbone, you strong, you could take a punch. That was at least the culture that I come from. So, but something in my gut was just saying, don't say nothing about it. Just accept her for who she is. Okay, cool, no problem. But when Kimbo made fun of her, um, she didn't like seem upset or uncomfortable. She just kind of sat there, and I thought she was gonna say, something along the lines of "fuck you, asshole," something like that. You know how people are. But she didn't say anything. So when I noticed that she didn't say anything and she didn't laugh or smirk or anything, I was like, oh, she doesn't like that. She may feel insecure about that. She may, You know what I'm saying? Like she just don't like that. So that wasn't funny to her. Okay, that's not funny at all. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah, so she didn't think that was funny, so it's not funny. Period. So when Kimbo made fun of her the second time, it was clear that it made her uncomfortable. It made her very uncomfortable. It made her very, very uncomfortable. And she kind of just sat there in a lot of discomfort. And because she was so uncomfortable, I didn't feel comfortable. I could feel her discomfort. And the other girls there are laughing and shit like that. And Kimbo's still making fun. And I'm just looking at her. And she's looking at me. And I'm just speechless because I'm like, oh, snap. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm processing. I'm starting to learn now how to intuitively feel people's vibrations and frequencies when it comes down to teasing. Lightly teasing. Kimbo's not catching on at all either because she's blatantly ignoring it, or she's just too caught up in teasing her that she didn't notice that she wasn't laughing and was very uncomfortable. And the third time she makes fun of her, that's when she gets up and leaves, and she doesn't come sit with us anymore after that. And I was like, at that time, I didn't realize that I probably should have pulled Kimbo to the side and told her, "Hey, I don't think that she thinks that that's funny, and you should probably stop making fun of her for that. You should probably apologize." But this was something that I learned. That event made me realize, oh snap, that was that moment where I should have stood up for her and said, maybe not call Kimbo out in front of everybody because she was my friend, but um, pull her to the side and be like, hey, I don't think she thought that was funny. You should be careful what things you make fun of from people because you don't know where their insecurities are, you don't know where their triggers are, what they've been through. I should have told her that, but that was one of those lessons that made me realize, oh, that I think that was that moment where I probably should have, stepped up and said something and did the right thing, because allergies, by the way, sorry y'all, I can't swallow it, I gotta spit it out. And for y'all that got dirty minds, shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's right. Don't you fucking, that's what she said me. Don't you fucking pause. Don't you fucking do that to me. Anyway, yeah, so that was that moment where um I realized, oh, that was that moment where I should have stood up for her. So I regretted that. And I saw how, she left and she never came back ever. I was like, damn, because she was rolling with us heavy, you know. She was rolling with us heavy. Yeah, she was rolling with us heavy. Because me and Kimbo were clearly best friends. So that when there was times where it was just the three of us, and she was there, me and Kimbo were in our zone sometimes, or we just had that vibe, and she would just be sitting there, but she rolled with us, whatever, whenever she was a part of the conversation or not, she was there. So, and I appreciated her company, so I tried to include her more in the conversation. And yeah, she rolled with us, and I enjoyed her company. She was cool. She was funny. She was real down to earth. Not like a lot of the girls in high school. She was so cool. Like she was funny as hell. I'm telling you, like she wasn't mean. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, cause she was a senior at the time, and you know how in high school seniors a lot of times kind of stuck up and they don't like to talk to the underclassmen and all that. But she was really funny and she was cool. So I mean, I was cool with her. But when she left, it wasn't the same, you know. And then Kimbo moved on to her next victim, teasing the next person, the next person, the next person. And I mean, I was kind of like that too, but I just felt like she was always like that. And, she did it to the point where it was excessive. I don't know. It just wasn't funny anymore after that. Like when once she, pushed somebody out of the group doing that, I don't know. I didn't think her doing that was funny anymore because when she did it, she poked at people's insecurities and it was a pattern. So she may not have realized that she was being a jerk, and she may have had to learn the hard way. But I just kind of noticed a pattern after a certain point. And I remember after that event, I started to distance myself from her too because I don't know, just I don't know. At the time, I didn't know why I did it. Honestly, like at the time, I didn't know why I started to distance myself from her because oh no, I just did it like naturally. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna cut her off tomorrow, or I'm just gonna. No, I just remember that I just kind of found a different group of friends that didn't, poke fun and do stuff like that. I just found a different group of friends. I don't know how it just happened like naturally. You know what I mean? Um, like I said, it wasn't something that I was doing intentionally. I just remember that from that point on, being around her alone wasn't the same. You know, um, you know, just I guess maybe because of that, I looked at her differently. Because I just remember that, I just saw her as like the sweetest person in the world, and then she just kind of started to get on my nerves. And I don't know. I guess I just started to become distant. I didn't mean to like, leave her out to dry or leave her hanging. It was just I noticed a pattern, and I think on a subconscious level, it affected the closeness, the bond that I had with her, and the bond started to weaken. She went from being my best friend to kind of being an associate. I mean, I ain't trying to play her like that. It's just I just noticed it. I started to distance myself from her. But I didn't notice it at the time, but now that I'm looking back at it, I really did distance myself from her. And at the time, I didn't know why. I was just doing it naturally. I just noticed I mean, I'm just now noticing this now. Like, I really did start distancing myself from her because of that. I think that was why. I mean, I just didn't know it at the time, because when your intuition kicks in, like, there's some situations where, say, like, if you're like eating at a restaurant and say you have plans to go to a party, right? But then, like, all of a sudden you forget about the party and you go home and you go to sleep. And then the next morning you find out that there was a shootout at the party. But then you're like, oh shit, like that was the party that I was supposed to be going to after I ate, but I completely forgot and went home and went to sleep. Oh shit. Sometimes the intuition will protect you from a person, a place, or a thing, and you won't even realize it. Like I said at the time, I didn't even notice that I was distancing myself from her. I didn't notice. And then she called me out on it. She was like, dang, what, like, where you at? Where you been? You be MIA. What's up? And I would, like I said, I wasn't trying to lead her on or play with her. It was just, I was like, damn, am I really doing that? Have I really distanced myself? I stopped texting as much, stopped talking to her as much. And like I said, I didn't realize I was doing that. I really didn't. I just was doing it on a subconscious level. I think that was when my higher self kind of stepped in and pulled me away from her, honestly, because I really don't even I didn't even remember that I was doing that until I started to tell, like, now that I'm telling my story. I didn't even realize that I was doing that. I kept doing it. No, it was something that I kept doing. I really do believe that either my spirit guides, my ancestors, my higher self, it was something that was guiding, pulling me away from her. You know what I mean? It really was. It was something pulling me away from her. And I believe that we were both being pulled away from each other because we were going in two different directions. I'm not going to say she was going the wrong way and I was going the right way. I'm just saying that we were being pulled apart. And I didn't even notice. I just didn't notice at all. Yeah, I didn't notice. So, yeah, I'm doing it on a subconscious level and I don't even notice. And, yeah, so I hang out with a different group of friends. We have different class periods, different lunch times. It's not the same anymore, you know? Um, I I think senior year we didn't like because when I met her it was sophomore year, so we had a class together, and then junior year we had another class together. We had one class period together. Now senior year we didn't have any class periods together, and we didn't even have lunch together. So I didn't really see her that much. She kind of had to like chase me down to find me and be like, "Hey, man, where you been at?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just because I was doing so much stuff. I was in so many after school activities, you know." And then there was poetry club too, which I was heavily into around that time. Where I was heavily into poetry club, and anytime I can be in that poetry club room, I was there. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. I mean, I distanced myself from everybody, due to poetry club. If it was poetry club day, you ain't see me. The only way you was gonna find me was in that room. And poetry club, like I said with the bullying, and it helped me get through high school. Like it helped me keep my grades up. Poetry club actually helped me. It was the first time in my life that I had ever maintained merit roll. Poetry club helped me keep my grades up and help me go to class on time, and really be better and do better. And that program really did help me throughout that entire year. They had it. I think they had it sophomore year too, but it was like towards the end of the year. So they started the poetry club. I think it was like the second semester of sophomore year, I think, and then um, it ended the beginning of senior year. So the first semester of senior year, um, they did it, and then once the first semester ended, they stopped. I'm not 100%